Yo, welcome back to Key to Auto, and today we're going to be doing some karting races. I love karting races. I feel like that's the most underrated, well, one of the most underrated features on Gran Turismo. Like, for real, I think there should be more daily races revolved around karting races and all of that there. But yeah, we just going to step right in here. We do wind up getting P3 after qualifying session. I actually like when they do qualifying sessions in the lobby. I think it helps with the good placement of the order, right? We wound up, qualifying P3 out of 4. But what I noticed in Tsukuba, it really doesn't matter where you qualify or have a position, especially when it comes to kart, because everybody's so close and the competition's so close. You're gonna catch up to everybody like quick, so that's really not a problem. So we start out here P3, and just like I said, as soon as the first turn, it gets very competitive. Everybody starts bunching up together. I think because the reason why that is that a lot of people drive their karts different. What I'm noticing is that people have different braking points when it comes to karts, even though they all have the same power. But I think it's because of a combination of the front and rear brake power distribution. Which with me, I like to run my brake system at a -2, which makes it -2 power in the front. Just because I tend to have a understeering mentality as well as tendency. So I feel like it helps me. So right there, I kind of pull off this slipstream, and then I slip to the right. And at this point, it's karting, so you can go full out on this last turn at Scuba. So I just go ahead and just overpower my way up into P2. So at this point, I'm feeling like I'm gaining on P1, and I feel like I can make a move at any time as long as I just drive correctly and how I'm supposed to. At this point, I kind of lose concentration, and I'm focusing more on him as opposed to the move that I need to make. I overpower it, and then I end up in the barrier. Damn. All right, so I get back up in it. Now I'm in P3. Check behind me. Dude behind me has a penalty, and I don't believe he's going to catch me anytime soon. But it's karting, so you can't wish somebody off that quick, right? All right, so I see a bunch of brake dust up there, so I see homie is hitting the brakes really hard entering the apex of the corner. Well, actually the beginning of the corner. So we're down the back stretch to the last turn. And what I like to do on that last turn, I like to set myself up to where I can kind of ride my line through the middle of the turn. And I just go full throttle through that. I pretty much stay in the position for a good while. I don't catch dude in front of me, Iron Man Nathan, for like another lap. So we're just gonna go ahead and speed through that. I believe I wind up catching him on turn 3. So I start to gain position, or start to gain ground on him to take his position, while I see a brake cloud right there. That's a clear indication that he is on it. It's probably a large amount to the rear brakes. That's what I'm thinking, but I'm gaining ground on him. So I'm pulling behind his slipstream. I do not believe that there's a boost in this lobby, so I'm pulling strictly off of his slipstream. So I try to hold my line as well as grab onto his slipstream through the line of the curve of the last turn, and it works out pretty well. So I hit the brakes at the wrong time. I had him right there. I was about to take his position, but I lost concentration. That's one thing that you can't do in Gran Turismo. You cannot lose concentration. Once you lose concentration, it's over with, because you can never get that turn back. That's why it's just best to just try to be in a nice, quiet place, right? As quiet as it's going to be with the engines going. But yeah, just try to be somewhere where you can concentrate on this game, right? So right here, I'm gaining ground on him again, but I lose concentration again, and I create a mistake. That's something that I do a lot. No, I'm not throwing in the damn tail. I'm not. But that's something that I do a lot in Gran Turismo. I create mistakes and I fall in them. And then a lot of times, if I'm not focused, or maybe I have too much on my mind at the particular time, that's not even involved in Gran Turismo, which really shouldn't be the case, because that's not meditation, right? I tend to create and fall in those mistakes, and I don't learn from them. because I lack the concentration when I need to. But back to this subject at hand, right? We see another large amount of brake dust cloud. So usually I like to gain ground on him around here on turn 3 is what I'm noticing, a clear pattern. So I go through the Dunlop tire. Right here I start to gain ground. I was probably gaining about half a second on him. At this point I try to set myself for a good exit of the corner because I feel like this is when I'm going to go ahead and make my move. He blocks me. Then he attempts to try to block me again. A little nudge from him, but I make it through. So with that being said, I'm on the last turn. I'm on now P2. Go ahead and get out of that corner. Full throttle, like I said. I approach turn 1. I see gentleman on my right. I check that, but he looks like he spent out just a tad bit. Just gave it a little bit too much power. At this point, I just try to drive my own race. I try to race my own race, for better words. I feel like once you go ahead and gain your position, just drive your best line. Be cautious of the person behind you, but try to focus more on just driving your best lap. Like when you're constantly watching the guy behind you, you're taking your head or you're taking your eyes off of what's in front of you. And just like anything in life, you take your eyes off of what's in front of you, then you're gonna make a mistake. You have to pay attention to what's at hand and what's ahead of you, but mostly only pay attention to what's ahead because you create what's ahead by paying attention to what's now. Gentleman behind me, Ironman Nathan, he pulls up on me a little bit, but I fight him off. It looked like he did gain ground on me on the first turn. That's probably where he made his better driving decisions than me when it probably came to a braking point. Because sometimes I do get confused on the braking point at Scuba and Fuji. Specifically Fuji. I'm talking about turn 1. I cannot find a braking point to save me. And one of the reasons why it's hard for me to find a braking point is because at Fuji, it's hard for me to see the markers, the 100-meter marker or the 150-meter marker. I can't see it because you're going so fast down the home stretch at Fuji. But that's another story in another video. So now we're on lap 9. I'm in P2. I tend to be holding off. Well, I appear to be holding off Ironman Nathan. I don't know why I'm saying appear. I am holding him off. I'm increasing the gap. It is shrinking at some sectors, but I do see that I'm keeping it at bay. At this point, I'm not too much worried about him. I'm just worried about, like I said, driving my best line and racing my race to try to gain ground on P1. I don't see it really happening. If I had 2 more laps after lap 9, I feel like I could have did it. But I don't think that I'm going to do it. But at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and try to just, like I said, race my best race and try to get the best time. Because hopefully I can come out of here with the best lap time. That would be a consolation to moving up 1 position. But it seems like I did so much battling in this race that I feel like I've moved up multiple positions, right? But actually I didn't. But that's why karting's so fun. It's just so competitive and it's so adrenaline rush because it's back to back to back action. Like, it doesn't stop. Like, you gain a position on me, and then he jump right back in front of you, and then you make another move. Like, it's crazy on karting. Like, it doesn't stop. That's why it's so cliche, and I've probably said it about 30 times, but I almost lose it there, but I still keep it together. There's also a 3-second gap now on Ironman. Just wanted to point that out. But yeah, just like anything, you just have to race your race. Once you race your race and you stay to your line, you can pretty much finish the race better than if you just was focused. If you were so focused on your opponents and what the moves that they were going to make, So the truth of the matter is, in life, you just have to race your race. You know what I'm saying? You got to race your race. You know what I'm saying? You got to look at life and you can't be scared of it. You got to slap it. You gotta do what you gotta do. But we get second place. I feel like we could have got first. If we would have did, we could have, what we should have did. But we did good with P3. So we're just gonna take this money. We're gonna take this mileage points. We're gonna take this distance, and we're gonna take this experience. We're gonna learn from it, and we're gonna get better. I plan on doing more karting videos because I love karting. Maybe we can work out a day and when I can do karting videos, but that'll probably be something that I discuss with myself and present it to you guys in the future. But like I said, I'm gonna also try something new. I'm gonna be trying to do more cockpit views when I'm racing, like Group 3 and Group 2 cars, because I don't know, it just gives you that more in-depth feeling. Tell me if you guys actually like those type of videos where you're watching sim racing this from cockpit, or do you like the chase cam, or do you like the over the hood cam? I like to drive with the over the hood cam, but some people don't like it, and some people like the cockpit view. What do you guys like? Let me know in the comments. Until then, have a good one.